Yay! We're at the last week of Module 4. So finally that'll be nice. And then after 4, there's 5, 6, and 7, and we're finished. So I wanted to get back to you and answer questions that you submitted about the 3 theories. Now, I think theories, the whole focus really of this module is about understanding how children learn vocabulary concepts. And if you have an understanding of kind of how that process happens, you can use that in your teaching. So I presented you with 3 sort of theories that you can apply to your teaching. And you don't apply it, the theory exactly. You take pieces of that theory or aspects of that theory that you apply sort of as needed. So, for example, I think of the knowledge theory as this, it really teaches me that I have to find multiple ways of presenting a student with a word or a concept, and it needs to be repeated exposure to the word and concept, different contexts, lots of practice, and that to me is the knowledge that you build the knowledge. That's the knowledge theory for me. And a lot of the activities that they presented are ways that you can help students, again, have lots of exposure to words. The bilingual model, I really love the bilingual model because it is the stages where if you want a student to fully understand, fully integrate that word, you need to know all the aspects of it. You can't just know one association. You can't just know one definition. You really have to know how that word compares with other words. You need to know what it looks like, what it sounds like, or might look like on the lips. You have to know the parts. How can you break it up so that you know the meaning of each of the parts of the word? You need to know, and that's the morphology, you need to know where does it fit in a sentence. So is it the noun or the verb or the adjective or the adverb? How do we use that word in a sentence? And then when we talk about the form, we're really talking about if it's in finger, you have to be able to look at it and recognize that word in finger spelling, in print, in sign, and in speech. So it really, you have to just fully know all aspects of the word. And then Bruner is really my sort of base. That is really what I think about first, is I need to know where a student, in terms of their experience with a concept, I need to know what they need. Do they need the enactive, which is really experiencing it firsthand? So when we talk about language experience, we're really having the student have firsthand knowledge of that concept by doing something, working with the concept. The iconic is really, if they have that experience, they can kind of translate it and look at pictures or icons. And so that is like the next level. And really, when you're working with really young children, sometimes you have to start with the direct experience, the objects, so the stapler, the pen, and then after they know or they have enough experience with that, they really do learn how to use the picture or the icon to be able to recognize the word. And then the third level really is moving it up to what we would call symbolic knowledge and their ability to use print language, signs, speech, and print. So I do answer your questions here, but one of the things I wanted you all to be able to look at is, because I thought this was great, Group 2 did do a kind of a visual of each of the concepts, and it really does tell you what are the sort of the most important aspects of each of the theories. So the knowledge theory and the bilingual theory that works in stages, and then Bruner's that really takes you through from experience to then symbols, like in words or sentences. And so to use these theories, you don't use this one, or this one. You understand that you can use parts of or ideas from each of these theories when you're planning for instruction. And for Module 5, I'll kind of show you some models for doing that. I want to also make sure that you look at the Dropbox, because in the Dropbox, what I do is I attach feedback for each of the projects. So I did that for Module 2, and we just uploaded feedback for Module 3. And I'm just going to say a couple of things about Module 3. The real purpose here was for you to, it's kind of hard to see, but the real purpose here was for you to be able to take the P-level goal that you identified, and that's right here, and then to align it with, find a standard or two that actually help align and may give you some context to help you work towards that goal. To look for the IEP goal. Where's the parallel or the alignment with the IEP goal? So the P-level goal, the standard, the IEP goal should all align. Kind of working towards the same thing. And then the benchmarks are those steps to get to that goal. And so you kind of break it down. You can break it down in a lot of ways. One way is to take it step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and work your way towards the goal. The other is to take parts, and so you might work on one skill here, and then the next skill, and the next skill, and when you put them all together, they kind of equal or reach the goal. And then the approach, really, I have the matrix where you have the context, and then the approach being one-on-one, small group embedded in a small group activity, and then moving out into the classroom, and then the context being, again, the student and the teacher, and then getting wider and wider experience with more students and more individuals. We're still focusing on conversation, on dialogue and conversation. So there were a couple of examples where people got off on reading or something else, but right now we really are focusing on dialogue and conversation. So we begin vocabulary then in this Module 4 that you're working on now. So in Module 3, I was really looking for conversation and kind of aligning with the P-level observations you did. So take a look at your feedback there. It's kind of low energy in this fourth module, which is good, because in the next module, in 5, we'll really start with then looking at how to plan vocabulary instruction, and we're using some of these models, some of these ideas from the models in helping us figure out what a student needs and how you can kind of approach that. All right, so we'll talk to you in Module 5.